I think there's still a lot of work to be done by the White Sox as well as with members of the General Assembly. But I will say that I think I've been really clear about the fact that the taxpayers' dollars are precious. And the idea of taking taxpayer dollars and subsidizing the building of a stadium as opposed to, for example, subsidizing the building of a birthing center, just to give the example, does not seem like the stadium ought to have higher priority.
I cannot believe I'm saying this. Not just a politician, but a governor is standing up to an owner of a sports team.
Many of us sports fans, we all want to see the teams succeed, but these are private businesses, and we've seen other teams be able to support their own stadiums privately. That would be ideal here, and I think that's something that I would encourage. I mean, I start out really reluctant, and unless a case is made that that the investment yields a long-term return for the taxpayers that we can justify in some way, I haven't seen that yet.
Spoiler alert, you won't.
The information that we've gotten so far is still very limited. How the taxpayer is going to benefit from this still hasn't been put forward to us. It's just what the need is. And of course, I think the pictures that we've all seen, the drawings anyway in the newspaper, all look terrific. But again, that's not enough to make it a priority, in my view, for Springfield.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Most shocking of all was this take that I mutually share with Twitter user Can't Ever Die. Every day, it's so funny to me that the richest politician that ran for Illinois governor in the Democratic primary and won turned out to be one of the consistently furthest left governors in the entire country in a long time.
Jerry Reinsdorf is apparently in Springfield lobbying for a handout from a governor who already is trying to find enough money to take care of the problems that face the state and his initiative for early childhood education and care. That's really important to JB Pritzker. So my hope is that the answer stays the same from the state of Illinois, and that is you need a bridge or a road, you need an exit ramp. We can talk about some of that stuff. But as far as a baseball stadium...
Dan Bernstein and Lawrence Holmes would weigh in on 670 The Score, a CBS affiliate in Chicago. Full disclosure, this is a station I once worked for.
It's clear that some people have never been south of Cermak, and some of these people are acting as if, or they have never taken public transportation to a White Sox game because it's fairly easy to do. So I'm glad that there are some people that are now like pushing back and being like, well, wait, there's nothing wrong. Your ballpark isn't falling apart. Your ballpark's fine. And the state's still paying for it.
For a while.
For a long while.
Like till 2034 or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a huge no. This is a flashing light neon sign. Get out of my office. The answer is no.
We've gone over this many times, and I concur with the guys here. Researchers with Kennesaw State, UMD, Baltimore County, and West Virginia found over 3 decades the local economic development from sports teams and venues didn't offset the public investment provided to build them. That's because most spending at stadiums is done by local residents using the money they would have spent at other nearby businesses.
Billionaires have found one more way to funnel our tax dollars into their bank accounts. Sports stadiums. And if we don't play ball, they'll take our favorite teams away. Ever notice how there never seems to be enough money to build public infrastructure like mass transit lines and better schools?
The deals keep coming, economists say, due in part to the fact that the hidden costs and long-term financial commitments generally outlast the tenures of local officials that agree to these deals, and simply put, because people love the home team.
Will and his family spent years hinting that they would move the Cards out of Arizona if the team didn't get a new stadium. Their blitz eventually worked, with Arizona taxpayers and the city of Glendale paying over 2/3 of the $455 million construction tab. And State Farm Stadium is not unique. It's part of a well-established playbook.
A tale as old as time, via berkeley.edu. Unfortunately, the subsidies have not created the local impact they promised. To understand why, consider the Falcons' new stadium. It cost $2 billion, $700 million was paid by taxpayers. While proponents may talk about a multiplier effect, several theoretical and empirical studies of local economic impact of stadiums have shown that beliefs that stadiums have an impact that matches the amount of money that residents pay are largely unfounded. The average stadium generates $145 million a year, but none of this revenue goes into the community. As such, the prevalent idea among team owners of socializing the costs, privatizing the profits, is harmful and unfair to people who are forced to pay for a stadium that will not help them.
Since 1990, franchises in major North American sports leagues have intercepted upwards of $30 billion worth of taxpayer funds from state and local governments to build stadiums. And the funding itself is just the beginning of these sweetheart deals. Sports teams often get big property tax breaks and reimbursements on operating expenses, like utilities and security on game days.
Further, a study by Knoll and Zimbalist on newly constructed subsidized stadiums shows that they have a very limited and possibly even negative local impact. This is because of the opportunity cost that goes into allocating a significant amount of money into a service like a stadium, rather than infrastructure or other community projects that would benefit locals. Spending $700 million in areas like education or housing could have a long-term positive consequence, with the potential for long-term increases in the standard of living and economic growth.
Even worse, these deals often put taxpayers on the hook for stadium maintenance and repairs. We taxpayers are essentially paying for the homes of our favorite sports teams, but we don't really own those homes. The most egregious part of how the system currently works is that every dollar we spend building stadiums is a dollar we aren't using for mass transit, hospitals, housing, or schools. We're underfunding public necessities in order to funnel money to billionaires for something they could feasibly afford. So instead of spending billions on extravagant stadiums, we should be investing taxpayer money in things that improve the lives of everyone, not just the bottom lines of profitable sports teams and their owners. Because when it comes to stadium deals, the only winners are billionaires.
If there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open for your story submissions. And also, if you can, please do support the network. Go to tyt.com/join. Thank you so much. Have a great day.